the Audience Adventure Radio Hour right here on KZSC Santa Cruz. My name is Bennett Williamson, your host of the program, here every Friday night, 7 to 8 p.m. on the airwaves and at streaming.kzsc.org. Folks, this is a call-in show. This is a participatory show. We need your help, and you can call or text us at 831-459-4036. Again, the number to call or text is 831-459-4036. We're going to be going on an adventure reading through a game book tonight. It's called Groom of the Tomb, and we were reading it 2 weeks ago. We will continue on our adventure, and joining me, we got the I was going to say the cast and crew, but I guess they're kind of the cast back in the house.
I think you're the crew, man.
Yes. I'm the crew. That's Michael Chemmers right there, right here.
Good afternoon. Good evening.
Good evening. And grab that mic, Annika, because welcome to the show.
It's me. I'm back.
It's Annika the Page Keeper. Yay.
Yay.
And also on that mic, we've got Tad Leckman. Hey, Tad.
Hello.
Thank you for being here and joining us. Once again, the one and only Misha Cardenas. Hello!
Hello!
Feeling good, missing out on playing her brand new Twitch just to be here with us. What's it, a Twitch or a Switch that the kids...
You whippersnappers, get off
She's got a Zelda, got the new Zelda game burning a hole in her Nintendo Switch, but is joining us here nonetheless. So
and posting on social media, so there will be millions of listeners this evening.
Oh, excellent! Yes, and
it's about time.
Be ready for the stream to go down, crash.
831-459-4036. Yeah, and also if anyone's catching us from, I was on the No Joke podcast this week, and thanks to those guys for hosting me and letting me get the word out about this show. You can check them out.
Ooh, cross-platform promotion.
Yes, indeed.
Nice.
The No Joke podcast with Billy and Adam.
Love it.
Great guys. And so, again, if you're tuning in, though, to this show for the first time, we are going to need your help. It's an interactive show. 831-459-4036 will be the number to call or text. So let's see. Where did we, as we go back in time here, and we remember last week, we were...
No, 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks...
So
oh, God. Go farther back.
Oh, go further back.
Okay.
Keep
Sorry.
going,
Okay, hold on. I think I got it. It's in here somewhere.
No, too fast, too far.
Excellent. So, 2 weeks ago, we were reading from Groom of the Tomb by Demain Katz. And so feel free to jump in here, anybody. Let's see. The time is, what, 1890 or something like that?
Thereabouts.
Well,
Thereabouts.
Only there was a page in the book that would tell us. No, there is though.
Well, basically.
Yeah, give it to us. Prof.
Sure. If you this piece by Demain Katz is really a terrific example of the genre of sentimental radio mystery.
Yes.
Or at least choose your own adventure mystery. It tells the story of young Lancelot Darling, a
That's
New Yorker
his name.
of wealth and fashion, who is madly in love with Miss Lily Lawrence, who is a scioness of a major industrial family there in New York, the daughter of Mr. Lawrence and Mrs. Ethel Vance, and the elder sister of Miss Ada Lawrence. Unfortunately, right before their nuptials were to be commenced, Miss Lily died.
Oh.
She died.
Yeah, she did.
Under mysterious circumstances.
She's dead. Yes, very mysterious. And we've been working with. There's been a detective in the mix.
Yes, there's a detective, a rather hard-boiled detective who's probably from 50 years.
So hard.
He's 50 years in the future.
I seem to recall that we went down to a crypt and flipped open.
She wasn't there.
She wasn't there in the casket. And we've also been, with this game book, there's an extra little gameplay element. We've been collecting some keys along the way. So as we explore the different branching paths, our trusty page turner, page keeper, and keymaster, Annika, has been noting those. Do you remember, Annika, what keys do we have so far?
We have Sexton, Pursuit, and Intentions.
Okay. And so perhaps we'll collect some more along the way. We also will be doing a little bit of dice rolling. We have three yes.
Ow!
The radio dice.
The radio dice.
Thank you, Tad.
Thank you.
So we'll be doing some dice rolling
bouncing that off my head.
along the way as we test some of the traits of our main character, Lancelot himself. So, but I think last we left on part 163 to everyone in the studio, turn your laptop to section 163, and we find ourselves, I believe, in the parlor with Mrs. Vance and Lancelot. Everyone's just getting a little emotional. You know, this death has been hanging pretty heavy over everyone.
Oh, yes.
And
before we jump in, I do want to just give a shout out to Elizabeth Swenson, who's a member of our cast and crew who could not be here tonight, which is a shame because last week, or 2 weeks ago, her part of The Boy, I think, really stole the show. It was the best thing about the last show. So sorry, all you Elizabeth Swenson fans out there in Radioland tonight. She may come. She may join us.
Yes. So we're going to start with section 163 and move on from there. I did determine the year is 1881.
oh, thank you.
Just to set.
Oh, that changes everything. Wait a minute.
Yes, I know. It's no longer
1881.
1881. Okay. So yes, we are in the drawing room with Mrs. Vance.
Hello, Mrs. Vance.
The best thing that you can do is offer Mrs. Vance an opportunity to confide in you. Perhaps she simply needs a friend to talk to. And that is why she has been paying such eager attention to you.
I'm sorry, Mrs. Vance. I must seem the most erratic and unreliable of friends at present. It's simply that you've been so kind to me in all my troubles, but I have devoted no time to yours. Have I been neglectful?
No, Lance, she says. Is this even my voice? I don't remember.
You were super sexy.
Friend.
There's a tremendous amount of sexual tension between Lance and Mrs. Vance.
Pump that up a little bit, like 10%.
No, you
Perhaps my only one in the world.
Oh, she's crying. Her graceful form is heaving with deep emotion. Oh no, should I ask her what's wrong? Or should I offer a comforting gesture? It's up to you, listeners.
As her face drops into her hands. Wow. And she begins crying softly.
Bring that down 10%.
Her graceful...
We overshot by 10%.
Her graceful form heaving with deep emotion. Now, listeners, we need your help right off the bat.
Wow, that was
Are we
fast.
going to ask her what is wrong? Simply ask her what is wrong. Seems like a nice thing to do to someone. Or to offer a comforting gesture. We'll turn to page 7. This is a very, as you said, Michael, it's kind of a parlor romance. So
there's a lot of tension between Mrs. Vance and Lancelot, and it's, you know, for the listeners, as you're trying to decide what decision to make, it's important that you know that Mrs. Vance is not only the mother-in-law of, or it would be his mother-in-law if they had ever gotten married, but is also is currently married to his benefactor, to Lancelot's benefactor, Mr. Vance.
I think she's a widow.
She's a widow.
Yeah.
She's actually not.
831-459-4036 is the number to call or text.
Oh, right.
So what I think is kind of fun about this game book is that there's all these choice points in this very chaste relationship, right? It's less like, are we going to jump on the camel's back and sprint across the desert? It's like, it's literally, are we going to ask her what's wrong, or are we going to offer a comforting gesture? So those are the options.
1880s comforting gesture, whatever that might be.
Right. 831-459-4036. You can call
And a mystery.
or text.
Where is the body of our betrothed?
Or
It's
is
true.
there a body at all?
Well, what do you want to do, Lancelot? I think, you know, if we're going to need to move through some of this before we get back to the mystery.
I think that it's time for Lance to be a little more assertive in his relationship with Mrs. Vance, so I think we're going to offer a comforting gesture.
Okay. Onward we go to section number 7 as we all madly scroll, and the sounds of scrolling. Take it away.
As soon as you overcome your initial surprise at Mrs. Vance's dramatic change in mood, you decide that actions speak louder than words and lay a comforting hand on her arm. Her sobs continue, but they take on a more grateful character.
Misha, can we have some grateful sobbing, please?
What does that even mean? While you are distressed at your friend's sadness, the human contact and the act of giving comfort have the effect of soothing some of your own sorrow. Eventually, Mrs. Vance recovers enough to speak.
I beg your pardon, Lance, for this child and undignified outburst of mine, says she with quivering lips.
Yes.
But indeed, I could not help it. Oh, Lance, I am very unhappy.
Excellent. Time to record the keyword comfort, page keeper. And then we will turn to section 197.
And for listeners at home, that is comfort.
And tune your book to 197. Wait, what'd you say? 197?
197. Tune your books to section 197. Tune your crystal radio sets to 88.1 FM.
I should not have thought it. I'm quite surprised at your admission.
Hold, please.
Misha, that's your line in the green.
Scrolling. No, because I mask my aching heart in deceitful smiles.
But you have no present cause for unhappiness. Your home is pleasant, your friends are kind and loving.
You think so. But you do not know what what people I hang out with. What kind of crappy people I hang out with. What I have to endure. You could scarcely believe how bitterly Ada Lawrence taunts me with my poverty and dependence.
Oh, no.
Were it not for Mr. Lawrence, whom I will admit is kind in his way, I believe she would drive me forth homeless and shelterless.
Oh.
So if you are shocked and angered by Ada's cruelty, we're going to turn to section 69. But if you think this is all a misunderstanding, turn to 34.
Any action on the hotline there?
831-459-4036. The texts are live. The phone line is open. 831-459-4036.
Probably the volume of calls coming in.
It's so great that it's blocking.
I know that one.
It's like a denial of.
I know that one.
It's like a denial of service attack.
Exactly. I know we have two fans. I know that we do.
831-459-4036. That's the phone number here.
Bennett, how did you get 30 feet tall? That was amazing.
I'm really fast. So,
I'd like to say, since we're waiting for the call-ins, I'd like to say that I think that Ada is up to something. I think that from the beginning, she has behaved in a suspicious way. And this is Lily's younger sister. And I think she tried to move in on me, on Lawrence, on Lancelot, I mean. And I think she's up to no good. So I think, if nothing comes
so
out,
Lily was
shocked and angered.
Our betrothed whose body has disappeared.
Exactly.
Lily Ada's her little sister.
Wait, I thought Ada was sick.
She is.
Ada's
she
sick.
was. I think we've moved beyond that in the.
Well, Felipe's chiming in here on
Felipe.
the text to say, show some compassion. It's all a misunderstanding.
Okay.
You think everyone's all mixed up in their time of grief? But that's not where you were going.
Nope, but that's the reader. We are slaves to the readers, so.
Let us scroll away to
Thank you, Felipe.
section 34. Is that right?
34.
Yes.
Surely you misjudge Ada. I'm sure she has a tender heart.
Her sweet face is no index of her mind. God knows what insolence I daily endure from that ill-natured girl. Lance, this life of dependence is a bitter one. I would leave here tomorrow and seek to earn my own bread with my own weak hands, were it not for one dear tie which holds me with a power stronger than my woman's will.
Oh, and that tie?
Is my passionate, uncontrollable, hopeless love for one whom I will not name.
No.
Lord Voldemort?
She answers in a broken voice,
Definitely Voldemort.
drooping her eyes from your earnest gaze.
Now, readers, if you have the keyword intentions, turn to 52. Otherwise, test your awareness. Page Keeper, do we have the keyword intentions?
Indeed we do.
Indeed we do!
Victory! We're moving forward!
Very exciting. So,
You almost stepped on me.
moving on to section 52.
Yes.
As we scroll along.
Okay.
5.
Suddenly,
2.
many things make sense. Oh, no. She means you.
Me?
Oh, Lance, I see that you understand my meaning. You should also understand that I cannot hide my feelings any longer. Please say that you return my love.
Whoa, listeners,
That's a big turn.
this is a big one. We got a big one. If this pleases you, we're going to turn to section 11. If you're shocked and horrified, we're going to turn to section 89. I mean, she's just professed her love.
I know, and historically, Lancelot doesn't have a good track record with genuine emotions. So.
Historically, he would use every opportunity to run back to his hotel.
Exactly, stay in his hotel.
If the beginning of this book is any measure of his mettle, he would always return to the hotel.
We'll have part 1 of this podcast up on audienceadventure.show if you want to hear all about the interior of a hotel.
Yeah, we spent a lot of time in the hotel room. Do not miss it.
831-459-4036. That's the number to call or text.
Felipe, are you still out there?
Are we gonna go with this lady? Are we in love or are we shocked and horrified?
So many horrifying things could come of this.
Oh, no.
And yet, maybe a moment of brief happiness for these two people.
Mm-hmm. Well, he's really
Very
rich,
brief
right?
moment.
Are they both really rich?
No, he's rich. She's destitute. And that's why she's living with... I looked this up while we were on break. She's living with the Lawrences because she's completely poor, right?
And a widow.
Because
And a widow.
they're in London and there's
New York.
New York?
Yeah.
They're in New York.
Yes.
Okay.
London,
In the
New York.
1880s, it was all the same.
And
What does it matter to a girl on her own in the big city?
Michael, Felipe heard you.
Hey, Felipe.
He said these ladies ain't loyal. He's horrified. He doesn't believe it.
Horrified,
Yes.
you say?
Horrified.
Well, you steered us the right way last time, Felipe.
89 we go.
This is this time that we scroll to page 89.
Oh, that was
So
great.
I suppose the heteronormative thing for her to do would be to just stay as a widow forever. Is that
Yes,
the thing?
I
That's
guess that
why
would
she's
be-
poor.
But also, from a Marxist perspective, that could be... Well, she didn't inherit anything from him, so... Yeah, the right thing to do would be for her to die a spinster.
Brutal.
Hey, let's see what the actual book says. If a bombshell had exploded at your feet, you could not have been more surprised and actually alarmed than you are at this avowal of love from the woman whom you had honestly admired and reverenced
Reverenced.
as one among
And
the
referenced.
gentlest and loveliest of her sex. You spring up and stand, looking down at her while a blush of honest shame for her burns on your cheek.
No, you cannot mean what you say.
She arises at your words, and drawing near you, lays a fluttering hand on your coat sleeve. Her dark eyes still droop before yours, and her shamed yet imploring posture is the embodiment of grace.
Do not be angry. I do mean it. How could I help it when you are the only living creature that is kind to me? She's like, the bar's low, dude.
Yeah, right.
Oh, forgive me, Lance, for my wild words, and let me love you a little.
Mrs. Vance, it is a shame to the heteronormative patriarchy for a woman to love unsought.
Oh, do not say so. You men are too hard upon us women.
Not yet, but wait till later.
Hey now.
You tie us down and restrict
I'm
us
not
in
writing this.
everything. And if we let our poor clinging hearts go out to you ever so little before you give us leave, then you cry out shame upon us. Oh, Lance, is it so strange that I should love you? You have been kind to me. You are dangerously handsome.
Well.
And winning. And a woman's heart must cling to something. So why not you?
Well,
I
you do
have
make
not-
a persuasive case.
I have not a true friend on earth, Lance. I have no one to love and no one to love me.
You're really
I am
selling
lonely and wretched beyond expression. Let me love you and say that you will love me in return.
Her
You're really
forlornness-
selling it, I gotta say.
Her forlornness moves your generous heart to pity and sorrow for her. You stand still as if rooted to the spot, listening to the wild torrent of words she pours forth so eagerly.
Why should you be angry because a woman's heart lies at your feet, Lance, to trample on or to cherish as you please? Am I not young, beautiful, and accomplished? If you chose me for your own before the world. What could anyone say against me, save that I could bring you no wealth but myself?
You remain appalled and speechless. She raises her eyes beseechingly to you and draws a step nearer.
Lance, do speak to me. Do tell me that I am not wasting the wealth of my woman's heart in vain.
You gently remove her clinging hands and seat her in a low armchair, standing beside her and looking down with visible embarrassment, yet with steady purpose.
Mrs. Vance, words would... Mind the antimacassar. Don't sit on that. There. Words would fail me if I tried to express the unutterable regret I feel for the revelation you have made. You must know how hopeless your affection is, remembering all that I have said on that subject this afternoon. There is no woman living, no matter what her attractions may be, who could take the place of Lily Lawrence in my heart.
But she did not love you.
What?
She died by her own hand rather than wed your ugly mug.
Ouch, girl, shots fired. Perhaps so. We cannot tell. Be that as it may, I shall keep her image in my heart forever, and no other woman shall come between us, especially a woman who just said that.
Then there is no hope for me.
Oh. Wow, this is how two women are going to kill themselves over me. One because she had to be with me, and the other one because she can't. So this is just...
Maybe.
Yeah.
We don't know what happened to Lily.
Well,
this is
listeners, maybe you can help us. Maybe you can help us here on the Audience Adventure Radio Hour here on KZSC Santa Cruz. Here's our options, folks.
Yeah.
If you try to offer some comfort, just try to offer some comfort to this lady, we're going to turn to Section 207.
Just try it.
If you need to escape as quickly as possible.
Back to the hotel.
Back to the hotel.
Got the opium getting warmed up.
The robe is warm.
Those Paraguayan oysters aren't going to slurp themselves.
We're going to turn to Section 83. So 831-459-4036.
Is this Victorian?
Victorian.
Edwardian.
Yes.
Right in there.
Who were those Victorian Edward? What did they know about love? They were sure were
Did you see Age of Innocence?
chaste. No.
Okay.
That's a good example.
Is that a movie?
Yes.
Mrs. Brown. Anything with Judi Dench in it. Including things where she plays a modern person.
831-459-4036. Well, I got to say our loyal listener, Felipe. Is...
Woo!
I mean, well, I'm not going to censor it, but Felipe says we should escape. Escape.
Felipe, 83? I think you have a problem with
Felipe,
commitment.
You should give us a call.
Yeah, give us a call, man.
831-459-4036. Let's talk about your fear of commitment live on the radio in the form of a fun game book. Wouldn't that be fun, Felipe?
Felipe's just getting like his own game acted out by a bunch of people.
That's fine.
That's what Demain Katz's work is all about.
I guess that's what I'm trying to say is, like, I know we're touching thousands of people out there listening now. You can listen all over the world at streaming.kzsc.org. And just in Santa Cruz, San Benito, and Monterey County alone, there's got to be someone who wants to salvage this.
From the trees to the seas.
Well,
he says escape.
Nathan from Oakland chimed in, says, loving the production value tonight. Thank you, Nathan.
Thanks, Nathan.
Yeah, we're having a good old time.
Thanks, Nathan.
Yeah.
It must have been my crying.
Thanks,
my convincing crying.
That's right.
Oh, look. Marlon Brando is in the studio.
The crying has been off the charts.
I think we should escape as quickly as possible. This is what
Hey, Lance, are you ready to go over there?
Yeah.
Are we going to escape?
Get ready to escape.
No.
Oh, did you guys even scroll already?
We're scrolled.
We're scrolled. We don't know where you are.
I was holding out for love. Here we go. 83.
Nope.
Make it sad. Take it to the patriarchy. Here we go.
None, Mrs. Vance. Absolutely none. Pardon me that I have been forced to wound you thus. And forget this madness, if you can. No one shall ever know of it from me.
Are you going?
Yes. How's that for production value?
We're going to 122.
I'm going.
We're scrolling along.
Scrolling.
One word, Lance. I have been mad and blind in allowing my feelings to vent as I have done. I beg your pardon and ask you as a priceless boon to forgive and forget my madness. Will you try and do it?
Reluctantly. I mean, gladly. Gladly. Oh, what a relief.
And one thing more. You will not suffer this act of mine to alter your pleasant relations with the household here. You will come and go as usual, that they may not suspect anything has occurred. I promise you that I will not obtrude my company upon you.
It were better that I should remain away.
But you will come sometimes.
Goodbye.
Oh.
Cold.
I know, he's ice cold.
So, we're moving along to section number 59.
What's cooler than cool?
A few days later, in your lonely hotel room, back to the hotel room.
Told ya. Finally.
You ponder what to do next. The thought of spending time with Mrs. Vance is hard to bear so soon after her shocking revelation. But you miss the companionship you gained by visiting the Lawrence household.
Can I just say it's so typical of him that it takes him 3 days to even start thinking about it. Yeah.
You recall...
He's been drunk for 3 days.
You recall that the ponies you purchased for Lily's use have arrived. Wait, hold on. I've got a text from Amazon. It looks like the ponies I ordered have arrived.
Oh.
Perhaps you could take Ada out for a ride.
Oh, well, we need your help with this one, listeners. If this sounds like a good idea, let's see, this would be your bride-to-be's younger sister. If you're going to take her out for a ride, we're going to go to section 86. Or if you prefer to take a walk on your own to clear your head, we're going to go to section 275. So the number here is 831-459-4036 on the audience adventure. Groom of the Tomb by the one and only Demain Katz.
The one and only.
You really want to get a soundboard. I know you do, Michael.
I really do.
I would definitely be voting for ponies. I want some ponies.
I wanted to ask the listeners out there.
Take that
no, I'm not going to take that. But if I'm looking for a recommendation of like a good soundboard. I put it out there on Twitter.
Oh.
You can tweet at me, Bennett for Senate. There's some good websites out there with like every video game sound effect that you could ever want. But I guess I'm imagining one where I could put like a sweet pony sound effect and have some shoes and stuff.
Let's talk after the show. I have something.
Oh, okay. All right. I just thought
Well, that was quick.
831-459-4036. Maybe Nathan in Oakland who's listening.
Nathan, you should call Nathan.
He's into production value stuff, He can
what was that?
He can tell.
It's a sound effect. The horse is drinking.
The horse is drinking through a straw.
If you can name what flavor boba that was from the sound effect, you're going to get...
There's one boba left.
Let's see.
Okay, I got it.
Finally, we've got... Hello, caller. You're on the air on KZSC.
Was it green tea boba?
No.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Thanks for playing, but you do get a new car.
So we're going to go down to section 52.
You really have been on top of the line tonight.
Is this Nathan?
No, this is Felipe.
Felipe!
So, Felipe, how's your love life?
Very good, thank you.
Oh, good.
I'm
glad to hear.
married.
That's great. Have you played Choose Your Own Adventure books before, Felipe?
No, not before. This is my second time listening to you guys. Last time it was about some dog named Betsy who was time traveling.
Oh, yes.
Time travel dinosaur.
Time travel dinosaur. That was a really good one.
That.
Pretty different setting here. We're more digging into the realities of commitment
in
and
1881.
Gender roles.
Yeah, this is
She
the
sounds a
thrilling.
little psycho, though. I think
little.
you should get out of there.
She's a little. They're all a little psycho.
She's really a strong female
thanks for coming
protagonist.
back, Felipe. We're glad we drew you back in.
That works. We'll try that again.
Yeah. Get Nathan out there.
So, Felipe, we're chilling in a hotel room, presumably after 3 days. Do you want to go on a pony ride with a young lady, or do you want to take a walk by yourself to clear your head?
By the way, if you think Mrs. Vance's sketch, where do you meet Ada?
Well, my pony's off limits. I think we should go for a walk.
Whoa, okay.
275.
Felipe's choices have been great.
They have.
I gotta say.
He's a natural.
Thanks.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love you guys.
Felipe,
stay on the line.
stay on
Hang
the
on,
line
hang on.
because we got to see if you send us to our deaths or something like that.
The farthest into the book we've gone. Okay,
I know.
275. Oh,
yeah.
boy. You set out early in the morning with no set destination in mind. You wander without aim, profoundly distracted by the troubling circumstances of your life. When you awaken from your reverie, you realize that you are in a completely unfamiliar neighborhood. And while it is a clear, sunny day, there is no obvious danger here. You feel a strange darkness surrounding you.
Ooh.
Could it be that behind these innocuous storefronts lurk the dens of dissipation that destroy young, lonely men of great means but poor self-control?
That sounds like me.
Could that small medical college be the employer of the fiendish body snatchers who took away your poor Lily? If you stayed here until dark, would human scavengers emerge from the alleyways and rob or murder you? Would you welcome such destruction?
Oh my!
You shake your head, realizing that these speculations have no grounds in reality. Now is not a good time for you to be alone. You decide to return to your original idea of visiting Ada, so really no choice here. Hoping that the company of friends will lighten your mood in spite of your awkward relations with Mrs. Vance. With renewed determination, you find your way back to familiar streets. And back to section 86.
What did that? You seem to really connect with that one, Michael.
That was a great passage.
Did you have a time as a young man wandering a lonely street?
Have you got an Ada voice prepared? Elizabeth, as I recall.
I could try to jump in
Let's
here.
add Ada. Do you want to do Ada?
If I can get to 86.
Okay, get to 86.
I got to drive and read here.
Okay, are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
You travel to the Lawrence home and ring the doorbell. You are soon shown inside.
Good morning, Lance.
Ada says in a sisterly greeting. Mrs. Vance stands beside her. You bow distantly in return. Mrs. Vance replies to your greeting with a bow that is quite as formal, and sinking languidly back into her seat, fixes all her attention upon her work. She preserves entire silence while you and Ada enter into a simple and desultory chat with the easy familiarity of old friends. At length, she rises with an incoherent apology and, heaving a deep sigh, quits the room abruptly. Ada looks after her departing form in amazement.
What's the matter with Mrs. Vance? You seem to have frozen her into a statue.
Well, it's like this.
So, Felipe, are you there?
Yeah.
We'll give you one more. So if you want to explain what's going on
to this young lady,
we're going to go to 42. Or if you want to keep your honorable silence, we're going to turn to section 93.
Before we hear from Felipe, I just want to say, I'm just trying to imagine what the simple and desultory chat is. And a desultory means lacking in purpose, right?
Did they talk about like theater before, I think?
Yeah, or maybe,
the weather, right?
Yeah, I guess.
He's going to describe his anxiety
they didn't
he felt
even,
walking down
wait
the
a
street.
second. Whoa. They didn't even ride the ponies.
No.
There was
There's
no
no
discussion
mention
of the ponies.
No.
Well, I didn't want to bring up the ponies.
Is he so rich?
In the room.
Is he so rich he just forgot on the way over? Yeah. I forgot why I came.
We'll get more ponies.
It's fine.
Well,
I ate them out of the box on the way home. Okay, Felipe, I'm sorry.
Well, what do you think, Felipe? Should we explain or should we, hold your tongue?
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Depeche Mode. The policy of truth. Explain yourself.
Policy of truth. If you explain, page 42.
Thanks, Felipe. I'm gonna let you go. Thanks for calling and listening
Felipe.
to the Audience Adventure Radio Hour. Good night.
Felipe.
Have a great weekend.
Felipe's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
See, I thought he was going to say Depeche Mode, leave in silence.
Yeah.
Oh.
See, he could have gone either way with Depeche Mode.
West End Girls. No,
that's Pet Shop Boys. Okay.
Boys, hello.
Michael Chambers. Ada is becoming like a sister to you. You feel you cannot keep her completely in the dark.
I believe that Mrs. Vance has formed an uncomfortable attachment to me. I have tried to set the matter right. It's best that we not speak further on it, particularly since I promised her that I wouldn't tell anyone.
Ada agrees curtly and glowers, reacting with far more anger than you would have anticipated. You think it's best to drop the subject of Mrs. Vance for now.
Begging your pardon for changing the subject, but will you ride with me this evening? I came expressly to ask you.
Yay, ponies.
I have my new phaeton and cream white ponies.
You smother a sigh as you remember why you purchased them. She goes to the window to look at them. Oh, they're right outside. Ooh. How beautiful, how proud, how thoroughbred are the restive creatures champing at their silver bits.
Just like Lily.
Silver is not a good metal for a bit. Impatient of the little groom's restraint, how exquisite the costly little phaeton with its luxurious cushions of azure satin, and the azure satin carriage robe thickly embroidered with white lilies. The equipage as dainty enough for Queen Mab herself. Ada sighs sadly.
It is beautiful, rarely beautiful. Yes, I will ride with you in the park, Lance. Wait a minute until I get on my wrappings, for I believe it is a little chilly today.
She trips away lightly.
Scrolling on, and we're scrolling to page 20, section 28.
She comes back presently, cloaked and heavily veiled.
Are you ready?
Not quite.
I've been sitting in my hotel room for 3 days.
Moments later, presently.
Not quite. I'd forgotten to put my bouquets into the vases.
She trips around and disposes of her flowers in various vases that adorn the room, then returns to you.
Now I'm ready.
You go out, take your places in the dainty phaeton. The little groom in blue and silver springs into...
Silver springs?
The little groom in blue and silver springs into his place, and you are whirled swiftly away. The scenery in the park is uncommonly beautiful, and while you still have difficulty finding love in lovely things, Ada's cheerful company and the rhythm of the horses calms you. In spite of Mrs. Vance's startling outburst, you still feel that you can remain an honorary part of the Lawrence family. Page 8.
All's well that ends well.
We don't know that.
Never mind about the whole murdered bride and missing corpse thing.
Ooh. Time has flown again.
6 weeks later.
You have begun to find some solace in the outdoors, and your passion for writing has grown. You have fallen into a habit of dropping in on the Lawrence home like a brother.
Hello.
And you are always welcomed without surprise or formality. Mrs. Vance, after a few weeks of shyness and prudence, has resumed her old frank relations with you. You still have not recovered from the shock of her unwomanly avowal of love, and your interactions with her are rather feeble, but you do what you must to keep the peace.
I had to drink champagne for 6 days straight after that.
Today, well into the cold and freezing days of November, the weather is exceedingly cold. The snow covers the ground with a thick white crust. You make your way to the comfortable Lawrence drawing room with delightful idea in your mind. You arrive to find Ada and the beautiful widow sitting by the glowing fire. Mrs. Vance is busy as usual with some trifle of fancy work, and Ada is yawning over the latest novel.
Well, Ada, how does the novel please you?
Either the author is very dull, or I'm out of spirits. For I failed to become interested in the woes of the heroine this morning. Have you read it, Lance?
Oh, yes, a week ago. I found it readable and interesting. I dare say you are in fault today, not the author, but maybe it's too early for our book
Perhaps
club.
so, but what am I to do about it? Can you suggest a remedy?
Funny you should ask.
This is just the opening you've been looking for. What will you propose?
Oh, yes, listeners, this is a goodie. So, right now we're trying to figure out what fun thing to do. So if you want to go to a trip to the theater, we're going to go to section 23. Or, for some sleighing by moonlight, we're going to go to section 2.
That's slaying S-L-E-I-G-H-I-N-G, not S-L-A-Y-I-N-G. You will not be going out and murdering people.
That's lucky
by moonlight.
Because I was just thinking how much more exciting this is than time-traveling dinosaurs.
831-459-4036. That's the number to call or text. If you're Team Theater, call. I want you to text, let's go theater, to 831-459-4036.
Wait a minute,
If you want to go out and look for those body snatchers.
If you want to find those body snatchers. But joining us now, we've got a caller on the line. Hello, caller. Are you there?
Yes, we're here. This is Nathan and Violet.
Nathan and Violet! Yay!
Well, hey, Nathan and Violet, how are you tonight?
We're doing good.
Where y'all calling from?
We're calling from Oakland.
Okay.
All right.
And how's everything in Oakland tonight?
A little balmy.
Is there any?
Otherwise nice.
There's no moonlight slaying going on of either the dashing through the snow variety or the
variety.
I know. I'm still confused. I'm still at odds with that terminology.
Yes, it is confusing.
Stabbing through the snow.
There you go.
Well, Nathan, Violet, I'm curious what you have to say because we just got a text from Crystal, who in all caps said, "Let's go theater," with about 8 exclamation points.
Ooh.
But what are you?
That was our choice.
Oh,
yeah!
With consensus.
Theater
All
goers.
right.
Well, when's the last time you went to the theater? As we turn to section 23, are you theater goers yourselves?
Like on occasion.
Okay.
Violet will be seeing Waitress in October, I believe. But I think the last thing we saw was, I don't know, was it Hamilton? Was that the last time we?
I think I went for my birthday to see Beauty and the Beast.
Oh, very nice. Well,
terrific.
I'm sure the production values were top notch.
Almost as good as this radio show.
The current show, except that. I'm still loving it. You guys are sounding great tonight.
Thanks, Nathan.
Thanks, Nathan.
Well, join us. Here we are. We find ourselves in the theater. Hang out with us and for a few. Won't you? Stay right there.
Yeah, hang out.
Yeah. Have you, Ada, have you heard of the latest theatrical sensation?
No. It's quite some time since I've seen a performance.
Oh, you haven't seen Hamilton?
I tried to get tickets.
Well,
we waited, but they sold out.
Yes, I'm not taking you to Hamilton. I have heard that Madame Reine de Lire's Juliet is unforgivable. Unforgettable.
Madame Reine de Lire.
Yes, a new discovery in the theater district. Bound for world fame, I gather. Like most New Yorkers, I like to say that I discovered things that you can already find already in the theater. I discovered her. She leaves for her London debut next week. Her admirers call her La Reine Blanche.
The White Queen.
Oh!
Mrs. Vance asks, sounding strangely
The White Queen.
Oh!
Mrs. Vance asks, sounding strangely unimpressed.
Oh, so you speak 4th grade French, eh, Mrs. Vance? Well, good for you. I'm told that her pale beauty and regal bearing make quite an impression.
Mm-hmm. Before Mrs. Vance can respond, Ada interjects.
That sounds lovely. I've never seen Romeo and Juliet, you know.
Oh, were you raised in a barn or a cave? Nor I! But let us 3 correct that situation tonight. Yes, all 3 of us. I have tickets for the performance in a box with an excellent view.
This sounds like a great plan as we turn to section 162 in Groom of the Tomb.
I'm really glad that we're not letting the mysterious death of my fiance get us there.
No,
we're having a
off to the
great
theater.
time.
Let's go to the theater.
The theater.
Romeo and Juliet with Madame La Reine Blanche.
Why, that would be delightful. I think that is just what I'm needing, a new sensation.
You consent then? Because consent is sexy.
Oh, yes. If Mrs. Vance will go too, will you do so?
Do you wish me to go very much?
I think I should enjoy it very much.
I don't know that I care for it very much. But I will go to please you, Ada.
Oh, if it's not a musical, then you can't be bothered, I guess. It's settled then. We'll go. And I think
do like musicals.
Well, we can try this one anyway, and I think I can promise you both a very enjoyable evening.
Later that evening, your carriage arrives at the theater in advance of the performance, and the 3 of you make your way to the box. As promised, the view of the stage is excellent, and the seats are most comfortable. Shortly after you settle yourselves in, the performance begins.
Dun, dun, dun.
The rumors are true. Madame de Lille is indeed beautiful.
De Lille.
Though in your mind, she cannot begin to compare to the lost Lily. Ah, there
Lily
she
de
is.
Lille.
I remember her. She was going to get married.
That's right.
Her acting is also impeccable, and her Juliet is extremely convincing. You are completely lost in the story as it unfolds, and you feel almost as if you are watching real events.
Now, excuse me, but at this point, as a theater historian, I would just like to say that it was not a value of the aesthetics of the turn of the century that would make realistic.
About midway through the show, Ada excuses herself for a moment and gets up to leave your box.
Ah, excellent. Now, it's time to roll some dice.
Yes.
We have some here in the studio, but I mean, Nathan and Violet, if you guys...
Do you have a six-sided
dice? If you have a
die?
D6 at your disposal.
Or actually, really anything that can randomize between 1 and 2.
That's true, yeah.
Are you there, by the way, caller?
I think we can get one real
Yes!
quick.
A coin will do.
The most interesting... No.
Now, the cool thing...
formula to do.
The cool thing that I'll say about this game book and some other game books is it's not just about choosing what to do. Some game books, like the Fighting Fantasy series, have a whole mechanic built in where you build up a character and they have these different kinds of abilities and you get in fights and like things. Oh, I hear some dice rattling.
Is that a Pop-O-Matic?
So we have sort of a mini version of that here in Groom of the Tomb. So we're going to test our awareness. So roll away, Nathan.
Okay, well, I rolled just one die.
Yep.
Just
and tell us the result.
Yep. We got a 5.
Okay, so that's a 5. We're doing awareness. Our awareness is weak. So if I look at the chart in the book, a 5 on a weak, it's a failure.
Well,
it's all right.
It's not
your fault.
It's a strong roll. It
14.
It sounded amazing.
It did. That was good radio.
It sounded really good.
Trying to add to the production value.
That's right. Oh yeah, I bet you didn't think that when we were going to call on you
to improve our production value.
Yeah, right.
All right, here we go. Let's see what happens after that failure.
Oh no.
You are too engaged in the play to pay much attention to Ada's departure. However, you are unable to ignore the sudden cracking, popping sound that follows a few moments later. You hold your breath for a moment, trying to determine what has just happened. You don't see any obvious signs. Mrs. Vance looks at you with confusion and alarm in her dark eyes.
Is this theater falling apart around us?
It's avant-garde. This is what we call immersive theater. I don't see how it could be. It was constructed but recently and at great expense.
I do not intend to stay here and find out.
She pulls herself to her feet.
Wait!
The motion is accompanied by further alarming sounds.
Lance, please, let us go.
Suddenly aware of exactly how high you are above the stage, panic causes you to rise urgently from your chair and turn to follow Mrs. Vance. This proves to be a terrible mistake. The improperly constructed theater box in which you sat, which has begun to give way under the soft movements and delicate Ada and Mrs. Vance, is unable to withstand the shifting of your greater weight. Hey!
Wait a
With
minute.
a thunderous crunch, the box completely detaches from the wall. Just before you plummet to your death below, you see Mrs. Vance leap to safety and turn to you with a haunted look in her eyes.
She's the Black Widow.
Oh, no.
The Lawrence home will be a place of mourning once again.
The end.
Nice work, Nathan.
We did it, everybody.
Wow.
We did it.
Wow,
No, we didn't do it. This is.
We made it to the end of the book.
We made it to the worst possible ending where we
No,
die
there
for
are worse
no
ones.
reason.
I read ahead, and there's some horrible things that happened. This is pretty bad.
We found out nothing. We resolved nothing.
We found out that theater is a very dangerous place
Do
to
not go to the theater.
In
Violet,
the 19th century,
Violet,
the theater...
don't go to that next play you're supposed to go to. Don't see Waitress. You'll die.
We also found out that construction in 1881 maybe needed.
In fact, anyone involved with theater or theater education is risking their life.
You know who died in a theater in the 19th century?
Oh.
Abraham Lincoln?
Well,
Yeah.
actually, I was thinking of Phil Merkowitz, but yes, also Abraham Lincoln.
Phil Merkowitz. I remember that.
Nathan, you killed us.
Good job.
Well,
Thank you.
you're certainly welcome. I enjoyed our adventure together.
Thank
you,
thank you,
Nathan.
Nathan. And thanks.
Despite the dying.
Thanks for calling in.
Thank you.
We'll enjoy your weekend, and you helped us get somewhere to our deaths. So thanks for listening.
Thanks, Nathan and Violet.
The die of fate.
Bye. Well, we've got about 5 minutes left on the show. If we wanted to go back and try to. Yes, Pagekeeper, you're clapping.
Where were we?
With great excitement.
Where were we when the dice failed us?
This is your time to shine, Annika.
Oh, young Pagekeeper, this is.
Oh, young Pagekeeper.
Well, we have many options.
Okay.
So many options.
No, we just want to go back
to the last one.
Oh,
okay,
come on.
then
This is her time to shine.
Oh, okay, sorry. What are our options?
Yeah.
Sorry.
105 to go back and re-roll the dice.
Tell us how to shine.
We're probably not.
So we could go back to 105 and see what a success would be.
What a success. Okay.
So that would be a success.
We gotta scroll on the page. 168. We gotta find.
Deep in the book.
What happens?
168.
Ada's departure catches your eye and draws it to something that you could easily have failed to notice in the semi-darkness of the theater. A large crack in the wall where your box joins the rest of the building. As you inspect the imperfection with a mild feeling of alarm, it grows visibly with a cracking, popping sound.
Is this theater falling apart around us?
It has been since the 8th century. I'm afraid it may be. Look! A crack!
We must get out of here!
Now, hold on a moment.
So, I mean, there's a choice point here.
Right.
Yeah.
So, if you agree, but was 129 where we just died?
Let's not talk about it.
I didn't mark that one.
It may have been.
Well, I don't know.
Wasn't our sudden movement of our large weight so rude? What did it before?
It's glandular.
I think we should get out of here. I'm going to make an executive decision.
No, I'm offended.
To get out of here.
154.
No, I'm not leaving. I'm sitting here with my giant
suddenly aware of exactly how high you are above the stage. Panic causes you to agree.
Yeah, we die.
No, keep going. Read.
Go, Mrs. Vance, go!
The widow gingerly rises from her seat, and you turn to follow her with great rapidity. This proves to be a terrible mistake. The improperly constructed theater box in which you sat, which has begun to give way under the soft movements and delicate Ada and Mrs. Vance. Blah, blah, you're a big fat guy, and so you make it break. You get to see Mrs. Vance leap to safety and turn to you with a haunted look in her eyes. The Lawrence home will blah, blah, blah.
The end.
All right, so 120.
Oh, I thought we were going to get away.
No.
We are.
Oh, is that what happened last time? Was I just really not paying that close attention?
If we don't move.
128?
129 if we don't move.
All right, this is
By
the
the way,
let's try not moving.
This is the last one we're going to check out.
Yeah,
folks.
and before we close up for the night, I'd like to ask both our listeners to
three listeners,
all three of our listeners to comment, because I've been thinking of a name for our theater troupe, the 5 or 6 of us who do this, and I was just thinking that the improperly constructed theater box players.
I like that. There's danger implied.
That's right.
I like it.
But a little fatphobic that they are blaming your weight instead of the poor construction.
True.
Come on.
It's a combination of factors.
Well, I can see what's on this last page that we turn to, so let's find out what happens in this final choice point here in Groom of the Tomb by Demain Katz.
No, Mrs. Vance, wait. If we move, we may make matters worse.
Oh, I'm on the wrong page.
Let us wait for Ada's return, and perhaps we can send her for assistance. Don't break the fourth wall.
Mrs. Vance does not appear to agree with your reasoning and turns to leave.
No!
Her movement causes another tremble in the box. And a protective reflex causes you to impulsively throw yourself at her.
Which causes a tremble in her
This
box.
movement has immediate disastrous consequences. With a thunderous crack, the box detaches itself from the wall and begins to plummet toward the floor below. All you can do is shelter Mrs. Vance from the falling debris and hope for a gentle landing. Something strikes the back of your head, and everything goes black.
Oh, well, we're going to have to leave it there, folks. We're going to have to find out yourself. I mean, we've done, maybe.
It's 113 to 172. We wake up in the hospital.
Oh, man. Well, you'll have to tune in again here to the Audience Adventure Radio Hour right here on KZSC Santa Cruz. Maybe next week. We'll keep going. This is Groom of the Tomb from Demain Katz, and I will upload our interview with Demain along with part 1 of this, and you can download that podcast at audienceadventure.show. show. So yeah, thank you so much to Felipe and all of our callers tonight. Again, for next time, the number is 831-459-4036.
We got like Nathan and Violet.
I need closure.
Be like them.
And Crystal, was it Crystal we texted?
Crystal and Felipe.
Thank you, Crystal.
Crystal and Felipe.
Thank you, everyone here tonight. Michael.
I need closure.
Annika.
I did my job.
Yes. Yes. Chad.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. And Misha, thank you so much for being back here with us.
All your crying needs.
Stay tuned to KZSC. DJ Brown Butt is coming up next with Horn on the Cob. Excellent music for your Friday night, so don't miss that. And come back next Friday right here on the Audience Adventure Hour on KZSC Santa Cruz. Bye, everybody. Bye.
Bye. Good night, Adventure on the Page.